Hello, everybody, and welcome to the top 5 new comics for January 30th and 31st of 2024. I'm, as always, Chris. We got another cool slate of books this week I'm really excited for. Fifth Wednesday of the month, always good. Enjoy 5 Wednesdays in the month. Listen, DC, Wednesday's New Comic Book Day. You're not going to change that. I'm sorry. I say 30th to be respectful, but New Comic Book Day is 31st. We'll move on from that. So let's jump into these great books, starting with Avengers Twilight, number 2. This is written by Chip Zdarsky with art by Daniel Acuna. So I read the first issue, and I'm pretty sure I said on this series, like, how much I was looking forward to it, how I had this great feeling about it, all this stuff. And after reading the first issue, did not disappoint. As not only a longtime Marvel fan, just all the characters that are brought into this book, and the future that is created by the team here. Now it's very obvious. All these books are kind of Elseworlds or like parallel universe stories, so you never really expect that it is the future we're leading to anymore. At one time, that might have been true in comics. Nowadays, I don't think so much. This really sets in stone right away the world that was created and how we got here. And that's done through this moment that they refer to as H-Day, in which this big attack happens, and we find out the heroes still have a secret identity at this point, all these kinds of things. All that said, my pitch for this to anybody out there is this is Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Acuna doing Marvel's Dark Knight Returns, specifically Captain America's Dark Knight Returns. It's Cap as an old man getting back into the fray after being gone for a while, dealing with this cyberpunk pseudo future that things are wrong. There's fascism all around them, and I mean that in a literal sense. In the world that's created, some of the heroes are dead, some are still alive. There's these different things going on. It's just so good in every way. I love that first issue. It did not disappoint in the slightest, and I'm so glad that I was right, because it's always nice to have a great comic. After that, I've got Batman Superman World's Finest Annual 2024, number 1. This is written by a litany of creators, so stick with me. We've got Cullen Bunn, Christopher Cantwell, Stephanie Williams, Dennis Culver, and of course, Mark Waid, with art from Jorge Fornes, Rosi Kampe, Edwin Galmon, and friend of the network, Travis Mercer. We'll start World's Finest ever since Dan Mora and actually Dan Mora is one of the artists as well. Ever since Dan Mora and Mark Waid took over, has just been one of the top books on my list every week. It's so good, and I loved that. While it's in continuity, it's almost its own world because we didn't set it in current continuity. We set it kind of in the past, and it gets to do its own thing and tell these great stories while mixing in every so often with the current continuity. Lazarus Planet is a good example of that. Now, with what the book's doing currently, we're in the middle of this Kingdom Come story, and then we've got this annual this month that is going to introduce more elements from the DC universe into this. So a lot of these stories, for instance, Metamorpho's story is the Dennis Culver and Travis Mercer story. We've got the Challenges and Unknown showing up. We've got all these great characters showing up. And then I'm sure there's going to be a Batman and Superman story as well, because, their names on the title of the book. If you haven't been reading World's Finest, it's pure joy in comics. It's one of the reasons I got into comics was these fun, lighthearted stories that have consequence and do important things, but don't take themselves too seriously and don't try to be so dark and gritty all the time. While I enjoy those stories and I tout a lot of them, wearing Dark Knight Returns shirt right now, it is nice to get these types of stories every so often. And when they're done so well, it's a plus. So World's Finest is just top tier comics all around. You should definitely be picking it up. After that, I've got Titans Beast World number 6. This is written by Tom Taylor with art by Lucas Meyer and Ivan Reis. Titans Beast World. So I just read issue 5. Literally, as I'm recording this, I had just read it hours ago. And Titans Beast World is such a good book. It's what an event should be, in my opinion, because someone like me who doesn't really care for the Titans, doesn't read a lot of Titans stuff, or any of the characters involved, was easily able to jump in and enjoy the story. There are DC Universe implications here. There's a lot of stuff going on for future events, future storylines, all that kind of stuff. And we've come to this head in the story. I mean, it's the last issue, so it's going to be the big battle. We're going to see the aftermath of it. I'm just really enjoying what they're doing with Amanda Waller, the reveal for Dr. Hate in the last issue, and wondering what's going to be left over after this book is done. I guess mild spoilers, but I think it's pretty obvious when you look at the covers and everything. But characters have been turned to these animalistic beast hybrids. And it's not just heroes and villains, regular people have as well. I'm wondering, like, is this going to be an everybody's cured and we move on thing? Or are we going to have ramifications that lead into the next thing where maybe, I don't know, Black Adam stays as a lion hybrid, or a certain portion of these people stay as hybrids and they have to form their own community, or, you know, what's going to happen here? At the end of the day, all in all, Beast World's just a phenomenal book. I really hope they stick the landing, and it's just another book that I cannot recommend enough to people. If you're reading DC stuff, I think it's going to be an important book for future DC storylines. So it's definitely worth checking out. And yeah, I just cannot say enough good things about Beast World. After that, I've got Duke number 2. This is written by Joshua Williamson with art by Tom Reilly. So Duke is part of this Energon universe that Kirkman and crew at Skybound are putting together. Duke was the first G.I. Joe book to come out of this. I've never been big on G.I. Joe or specifically Transformers. Transformers, I'm like a passive fan of. I enjoy it here and there, but I don't get hardcore into it. Like some of the old cartoons and all that stuff, but just the comics never landed with me. G.I. Joe is one that I've always had an interest in, but never dove into. I'm actually, as a side note, really hoping that Skybound decides to reprint the original Marvel run, because they are continuing that run. And I would like to try to get into it from the ground floor and see it from issue 1 on and see if it's something I enjoy. But Duke. So all those caveats aside, I was told I should check out Duke because it would fit into, you know, things I enjoy and all this stuff. And those people were 100% correct. This story is basically the story of a soldier, somebody high up in military office who sees aliens and then tries to tell the truth and is told to basically shut up. And instead of aliens in this case, it's a transformer, which I guess is still an alien. But Duke sees this transformer, kills one of his friends. He gets away. He tries to report it and is told, "You're crazy. Stop talking about this." And we find through all this, there's conspiracies. They take some fun shots at conspiracy theorists throughout this. It just, I love that story building there. Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, guys. Everybody, like, don't jump down my throat on that. But I find that that world fun to jump, especially aliens and stuff. Like, it's fun to read about and everything. I don't really believe the stories out there, but I mean, it's fun. And for them to take that as their story for this is interesting. It's a great way to introduce these characters and to bring in kind of a new storytelling for this IP. And yeah, just issue 1 was really great. So I'm really, really looking forward to issue 2. it's one of those books that for me is shocking how far up my pull list it went, where it was one that I didn't pick up, was told, "Hey, you should probably try this out," and fell in love with immediately, which is just evidence to everybody out there. Sometimes it's worth trying new stuff. It doesn't always work out, but then you get a book like this, and it's just like, hell yeah. After that, The Devil That Wears My Face, number 4. This is written by David Pepose with art by Alex Cormack. So we talked about David last week on this series with his Punisher. This is his independent book he's doing with, I shouldn't say independent name. I should really change that wording. This is his non-Big 2 book, his creator-owned title with Mad Cave Studios. I also got to talk to him about this on air and behind the scenes, and just love the story he was telling. It's basically a reverse exorcism where an exorcism happens, an exorcist goes in to solve it. He gets possessed by a demon, and that demon is now running rampant inside a church in like the 1700s. And it's this great reminder of, for me, where I'm not much of a horror guy, but then I'm reminded I do enjoy horror. I just don't enjoy certain types of horror. And this is one of them. Like possession, demonic horror is the type of stuff I do enjoy. And that's what we're doing here. And then setting in a time period where we're in kind of the heyday of the church and everything adds a layer to it as well. And then the art from Alex is just top notch. I love this book. It's the first 3 issues have been so great. So to sit down and read issue 4 here is going to be just amazing. This is a book that I recommend a lot too. If you're a horror fan and you're into the same kinds of horror genres that I just mentioned, this is definitely a book worth checking out. I believe it's a 6-issue series, so we're getting close to the tail end of it, but it's just good. And then just to throw an extra thing on there, Mad Cave was a comic publisher that I liked, like Battle Cats and some of the stuff they're doing, but I was like, okay, like they're doing some cute things. It's fun. Didn't take them too seriously, to be honest with you. And as I watched them over the years, and last year was the year where I really realized what these guys were doing. And they have built this great foundation with some good classic titles now, and the stuff they got coming out last year into this year with the IPs they've acquired to publish now as well. I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned for in the future, and they've set up a position for themselves where I don't see them going away anytime soon. They are a place where some comic creators are going to create cool and interesting stuff. And it feels Aftershock-esque before Aftershock had their thing that happened. But when we first saw Aftershock come up, I felt that way about them when they were getting Cullen, Bunn, some of these other creators creating these really unique out there comics. And that's kind of where Mad Cave is now. And they've taken up the reins of that and expanded upon it because they've got some cool IPs coming out too. But definitely check out The Devil Wears My Face. I love this book. So everybody, that is it for the comics this week. Remember to like, subscribe, share, comment down below on this video to support it. Share it out with people to get into more eyes. And you can also follow me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at Fortress Chris. So go there, follow me. And if you're not on that, pick a social media network, type in Fortress Chris. I'm probably there, at the very least, promoting my work. So you can follow me there and see as we're going forward. Thank you all so much for watching this week, and I'll see you all here next week.